I've got a great little recipe for you today, guys, which is a very simple little zesty lamb kebab. So, first thing we're going to do is make that cucumber yogurt. So just taking the ends off the cucumber and peel it. Now we're actually going to remove the seeds as well because there's a lot of water content in there. We really want that nice little crunch of the cucumber. And we're actually going to try and get a nice fine dice. Also going to add in some lime zest, a little bit of lime juice. You should always add the herbs in at the very last minute. If you don't, they're going to end up going black. They're going to totally discolor your yogurt and they're not going to look very pretty at all. So just pick those mint leaves off and we're going to crumple the coriander up. A lot of people sort of discard the stalk. I think you should keep them because that's where a lot of the flavour is. So just a rough chop. So that dip's made. If you're making it in advance, covered with cling film into the fridge and you can go on and make your kebabs. I'm just going to set that to one side. Now making the kebabs, first thing that's really, really important, flip the chopping board over. Working with meat now, so we want a nice clean surface. Now I'm using minced lamb. I'm a big fan of going down to your local butcher. What you want for this one is you want about 20% fat content in there. With that fat, we're going to have lovely, tender meat. So we're going to flavour it up. Start off with an onion, some garlic, and some chilli. Now I'm going to show you a really handy tip for peeling garlic. A lot of people always struggle with that. I've seen them messing around their little knives and stuff. Out comes a clove. You're just going to lay it flat on the surface using the base of your hand. Whack. And what that does is it means that the skin comes off in one easy motion. Really couldn't be much easier than that. Now we're just going to take off the ends. Now you could always use a garlic press at this stage, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it nice and fine. And in that goes for the lamb. Now next up, red onion. I think the red onion gives it a really nice sort of texture and especially colour. When you look at the kebabs, you'll see once they're cooked, it's got those little red speckles in it along with the herbs. Now, in they go. Now the third ingredient that I'm adding is probably the most important, the chilli. I'm going to add in quite a lot today because I do like it with a bit of a kick, especially with that yogurt to complement it. Just lengthways, using a little spoon, out come those seeds. And again, we're just going to roughly chop that chilli. I think you got some fantastic textures in there, like you've got those little bite of the chilli. The onion will sweeten up slightly when it cooks, and then you've got the texture of the cucumber in the sauce, which will really give it a nice crunch as well. I've got a little bit of ground coriander, some cumin. This is where the Indian influence is going to come in. And the last one, garam masala. A lot of different blends of garam masala. Each sort of producer has their own different flavourings, but typically there's garlic, coriander, all those sort of herbs in there. Now, also, I'm going to season it. Fresh black pepper. Generous amount of salt. I'm just going to mix it together. So, out that comes. I'm just going to set it there where I'm going to work, and I'm going to bring back those skewers that have been soaking. Now, they've been in there for about 20 minutes all together, and what that does is it stops them from actually burning when they're on the grill. And I'm just going to lay it flat. Now, we're going to get about 8 out of this mixture, so just make it into a little shape and just simply push your stick down into it. Just sort of play around, make sure it's evenly distributed. These, as you can imagine, would work perfectly on the barbecue. You can cook them in a char grill pan, even just lightly under the grill. But it is important, the cooking process, because you really don't want to overcook them. So we're just going to, you'll see, cook them really, really simply and quite fast. And the trick with minced lamb is just cooking it so it's slightly tender in the middle. You just want to keep that tiny little bit of pink at the very, very center, and then you'll end up with lovely juicy lamb. Just leave it for about a minute, minute and a half. You want that lovely golden brown color on the outside. Now what I've done is I've just flipped those over. They've been cooking for another 2 minutes on that side, and that's them ready to serve. I'm just going to pull them off. And you want to serve them up pretty much straight away because that meat could dry out, so you really want to get it to the table immediately. Now, I'm going to bring back my sauce, which by this stage has got all those zingy little delicious flavors in there. Just a little bit over the top. Such a simple dish, this. Literally less than 20 minutes from start to finish. Delicious little zingy, zesty Indian kebabs.